Hello everyone. Here I am going to talk about design thinking. Design thinking is a phenomenon which is known prevalent, but how can design thinking be a problem solving tool is what I intend to talk about from my topic. Now, design thinking for people who are imagining design more from the artistic point of view, here I am to say that design thinking is not just artistic, but it also needs something from the logical side. The blend of both right side of your brain and left side of the brain brings out the design thinking concept, which will help in attribute to be done better. Now let's look at how design thinking helps in anyone's career. If you look at any organization, there are three layers of circle, should I say. It is, you have the technology, you enter into the organization, you have a technology in the outer circle. Then the next inner circle is what you look at as a business aspiration. And business aspiration then is met with people or the human resource in the center. The intersection of your technology, business aspiration and people is where design thinking comes into fore. So how can design thinking help beyond looking at imaginative design aspect? Design thinking, as I said, if you are looking at a problem solving skills, it has to be outside in view. You need to put yourself away from the problem instead of looking from inside the problem trying to solve it. And there are two fundamental traits that I would attribute people to follow. The first one is what I call deep listening. You need to practice listening deep. It's not artificial or superficial listening, but how can you practice more deep listening is the first one. And second one is you observe around. If you look at the great products, services which is prevalent in the market today, they are all born out of people who have done deep listening about their customers, about their stakeholders, and then how are you bringing out the next angle of listening. So your deep listening and coming up with what you wanted to observe forms the basis or the fundamentals of design thinking. Then there are a few other steps which you can do. First one is, how are you sensing and responding? Are you sensing a pattern? Are you sensing a demand? Are you sensing a problem? How are you able to respond back to it? That is the first one. The second one is, you go and then say, there are dots. If you look at any problems, it will not present on its own to you. It will have multiple dots in it. And you as a design thinker has to look at how are you connecting the dots. That's the second one. Third one is, start challenging assumptions. Many people start assuming things and they say assumption is bad. And if you start challenging assumptions, you get a lot of ideas, a lot of newer thoughts which will come out. And then you also need to see, am I breaking the silos? There are silos in the organization which you need to break. And when you break the silos, you will start people to be more collaborative and working through. So how are you able to bring multiple stakeholders together, and how can the stakeholders help in solving the problem? That's a key. Many of the interesting propositions, solutions fail in the marketplace because it does not address what is the key demands of multiple stakeholders. So if you are able to stitch the multiple stakeholder interests together, then that's the next one. In short, when you see that you are able to sense and respond, you are able to challenge assumptions, you are able to go through the connecting the dots, coming up with the zoom in and zoom out as a concept. Zoom in and zoom out is sometimes you need to go closer to the problem, sometimes you need to stay away from the problem. It is not one versus other. You go closer also, you get caught into the problem. You go too far, then you are detached from the problem. So how are you able to balance this and then bring in your multiple stakeholders together and then break the silos? Are the next few tips you can follow on top of your deep listening that I spoke in the beginning and the observation. So by doing all this, you start challenging orthodoxy. We call challenging orthodoxy. So there are orthodoxies prevalent in any form of organizational behavior. So if you are able to challenge them and then come up with a suitable response to the orthodoxies, you have the bingo aspect of the design thinking coming right in. So my suggestion, whatever I said so far, it's not just for people to practice at work, but I encourage people to try and use both left side and right side of the brain, which is both creative as well as logical aspect. Even try it out at home, it will work. So stakeholders are key. What we do at work extends logically to your home too. So happy design thinking to you. Thank you.